Welcome back, boys and girls, to another episode of Kayfabe Comparisons. My name is Mr. Knowitall, Daniel John Schafer, and I am joined here once again by the rest of the Kayfabe crew. Introducing first, he is the king of the Kayfabe kickflip, Mr. Wex, breakin Lawson. Wex, how we living today, bud?
Hey, living pretty good today. Got a lot of crazy shit going on. I was talking to you guys about some of that shit, but insane. Lots of good wrestling from both companies. Lots of really good shit to unload and talk about today. I'm really looking forward to this episode.
I am very much looking forward to this episode. I am super hyped about it. Also joining us here, the patron saint of the Rock Block, as it were, Mr. Jesse Baker. Jesse, how you living, bud?
Man, I cannot complain at all. I just took a 37th round around the sun, which I could not be more thankful for because the alternative would be the alternative. So I absolutely love it. We're minutes away from my last match at Municipal Auditorium.
Happy birthday to you.
Loving it. It's like the reverse. You're like, Flair was 73, right? You're literally the
there we go.
Reverse of it. So.
I'm the reverse Flair. It's a new nickname.
You're the reverse Flair.
Birthday.
I love it. Well, I'm really excited, man. Season 5 is awesome. I'm loving this new format. People are really digging the Who Am I game. I know last week we talked a lot about Triple H being taken over creative, and that was a big hit. We got a lot of downloads on that one. Also, of course, top 5 finishing moves of all time, and we were all over the place with that one. Honestly, we were like, I'm loving these little breakdowns of a list, but I gotta say that it makes it much more difficult to narrow it down to 5 than doing like a top 10. Like I like the shorter format for sure. But it's really hard to put like 5 things on any of these lists. Am I right?
Dude, yeah, totally. It's so hard to get it to that little tiny because, we're marks. We love wrestling. We want to include as many people as we can. We don't want to leave anybody out.
Right.
I mean, Wex Breakin Lawson is the only person that says it's so hard, but a little tiny.
But a little tiny bit. I'm getting some great feedback from season 5. Jesse, you get any good feedback about the new format change, the new look, the new vibe? How you feeling about it?
It's been great so far. I mean, absolutely. Everybody's responding to stuff. They're not only for the podcast, but also for shows and things. People clearly are listening. People give a shit. We're getting other weird likes from independent wrestling people that also really just happen to listen to our shit. At this point, which is, to me, the best.
It is the best, man. I'm super grateful for that. It's always cool to see the indie wrestling scene showing us some love as an indie podcast, not sponsored by Mr. Conman Thompson. But yeah, I'm super hype about it, man. Today we got a really good list episode. We're doing the top 5 gimmicks of all time. Now that's not like Bret the Hitman, because Hitman isn't really a gimmick. It's like a nickname. Like he was just Bret Hart, so that doesn't count. You know what I'm saying? Like it has to be a full-on character gimmick. I'm really excited about getting into that. But before we do, let's get into the haps, man. What's going on? What's happening around the world? What is going on in this kayfabe world?
We're going to go ahead and kick it off with some WWE stuff like we always do. And just like you were talking, Triple H back in creative control, and dude, he's just bringing the heat. He brought back Hit Row on SmackDown this week, which was a surprise to everybody. I mean, it's pretty fucking cool to see because they were popping off before, even though they don't have Swerve Strickland with them anymore. But it doesn't matter. He's doing his own thing in AEW, and it's pretty cool to see. And I don't know, did you guys see any of that last week?
I did, and the running rumor is the next leader of Hit Row, Lio Rush.
Hey, that works perfect. The rapping gimmick. He's actually, they all actually rap. And I think that, I don't know if he should be the leader because I think just him and the faction would be good because I think they work better as like the no leader, just the unit thing going. And if anything, Top Dollar, I feel like he's the leader.
I definitely don't disagree with you. I'm just saying that's the running rumor. And obviously WWE has gotten smart about playing the who's next game. It's
definitely
bringing people back. Nobody knows what the idea is going to be, but running rumor now, all the dirt sheets are fucking running about who's coming back, who's not signed, who can we bring. I think Lio Rush is a strong contender.
Yeah, if he doesn't retire again.
Yeah, I don't think they're. I mean, I'm not saying they won't bring in Lio Rush. I'm not saying they won't do that. I don't know if you need to. Like, I can understand the argument online, especially from a lot of the fans, is that like, well, it's not, it's kind of like a watered down version without Swerve. Swerve was kind of like the centerpiece of that whole thing. And it's like, yeah, but like they don't really have a strong tag team division, and they have enough name value. And like, if they just go in the tag division, that's fine. Like, I think that'd be great. Yes, like that's true. Like, I agree that it is a more watered down version, but honestly, they're pretty decent in the ring. So like, why not just put them in a tag division that you desperately need to fill with solid, real tag teams and not like RK Bro? You know what I'm saying? Like, I want like real tag teams. And like, I think that Hit Row is a great idea. I think that we're going to see more of the older NXT tag teams come back. I think that's going to happen.
DIY, cough, cough.
Mhm.
Yeah, that I don't think that they're going to be pushed as a tag team. They will be back. They might have a tag team run, but I was actually thinking more of like the Ascension will probably be back, or maybe even deeper in the vault there. I think I think Wyatt's going to be back there now. I don't think AEW really will fit for him. I think that with Triple H, Wyatt will be better there.
Yeah.
And I would see his brother and maybe even Curtis Axel come back too as like a little almost nostalgia throwback type tag team. It would make sense. They're not doing anything else, and they could also turn into agents eventually. I feel like I could totally see those guys being like Triple H's agents.
As an agent recently.
Oh, is he?
Yeah.
I had no idea. That makes perfect sense.
What about Cody's brother?
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, he's AEW through and through, I think, honestly.
Oh yeah, he's pretty hardcore with it. If you've seen some of his online comments recently, he's like he bleeds AEW.
Yeah, but that's what we all said about Cody too.
That's true. I mean, that's what the Rhodes family does for whatever company they're working for, period. And that's fine. I don't have any issue with that.
Hey, they're company men, honestly, the Rhodes boys.
Yeah, that's fine. Like, honestly, there's value in that. Like, okay. All right, I know we're sidebarring here, but like Goldust, Dustin Rhodes, is he a Hall of Famer?
I think so.
Oh, 110%.
Right.
Yeah.
So do you think he's going to say no if they offer him a Hall of Fame spot?
Nah, hell no. He'll go. He wants to join as his daddy.
And you think that he'll stay in AEW and not sign a Legends deal?
Hey, Billy Gunn stayed in AEW, went to the Hall of Fame, so it's possible. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, but I think that WWE is smart enough now to where they won't put him in until he's not under contract with AEW.
Yeah, Triple H is smarter than Vince. You're right.
I don't know about all that, though. And here's my counterpoint. My one and only counterpoint here would be they clearly have been reaching out to people that are under contract with AEW already, documented. So I don't see you give them the opportunity, like maybe now.
Yeah, I mean, it's possible. I don't know. I think we're also going to see maybe Enzo and Cass back at some point.
You never know, which would also be sick. But did you guys catch Raw this week at all?
I did.
I watched a little bit. Yeah.
Dude, so I will say the best thing that I saw from anything that I watched was KO, Drew McIntyre, the promo, and the match. Like, they said wrestling multiple times, like and they fucking just had a banger. It felt like
Monday Night Raw. That's what it felt like. It felt like Monday Night Raw.
Yep.
Yeah, of course I didn't last the whole time, but like I at least watched that.
So good.
I watched the Hulu version, which granted only an hour and a half, but I watched the whole fucking thing. And I'll say this. It's interesting now. I have a girlfriend who is not familiar with wrestling what the fuck soever. Like, she's seen some documentaries, and she's been willing to watch some wrestling with me. Watching AEW with her is very demonstrable to the point, like, that's a Mark show. And,
for sure.
And watching, like, she's asking me, who are all these Eddies and Johns and Daniels and, like, what the fuck is going on? I'm like, yeah, like, you'd have to be inside to fucking know it.
Yeah, you would.
And you watch Raw, they're actually doing such a better job now.
Yes.
SmackDown, not yet a different story, but soon to be.
Yeah. I wonder when they're going to let old Bruce go.
Oh, I think Bruce is probably integral in trying to make sure everybody feels comfortable with the new direction. I don't think that's happening anytime soon.
Really?
I do not. Not at all. I think that if anything, working with Hunter and working with Stephanie and working with all those people at this point in time, I mean, unless he brings a fucking gun to work again, I think that he's probably safe.
Yeah, I mean, I guess that's
got to
fair.
deal with everyone, you know.
I just don't know how much longer he's going to want to do it. I mean, Bruce Pritchard's not a lifer. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's not going to be there into his 70s. He's just not that guy. So how much longer when you know you can make money and go on the road? Because Conrad's only made that whole empire bigger. And if you do go back, it'll be a big pop on the podcast world. He'll do another live tour, and it will sell out, and he'll make a ton of money. And it's a much easier life to live.
But some people are only used to what they're used to. Some people are only used to not having any sleep and constantly fucking going. And I think that old Bruce is one of those people.
That's fair.
Especially with Jarrett. Like, to be honest, between Bruce and Jarrett, how is Conrad not already running WWE?
Yeah, I mean, it would be something if he just bought all the shares, you know?
Yeah, that'd be fucking wild. Speaking of buying, basically there's a record number of ticket sales for the upcoming WrestleMania in LA, which we all know it's going to be The Rock versus Roman Reigns. It's going to happen, right?
Yeah, definitely.
Like,
no doubt about it.
It's 100% going to happen.
I'd say it's all but 100%. I mean, the only way it doesn't happen is if like some massive movie offer comes along.
Yeah, if The Rock got a movie and was just like, dude, I'm sorry, y'all can't pay me enough.
Yeah.
But do you think it's going to be for a title?
Nah.
Exactly.
Because unless Roman wins.
The only way it happens is if it's not for a title.
Or if it's for one of them, if they split them off again, which I do think they're going to do.
that makes more sense because The Rock could probably do like a little month or two run and drop it to somebody.
They're going to split them off again. It's going to happen.
I think
Cody's going to come back and he's going to be the Raw champion. He's going to be the Monday Night Raw guy, and Roman Reigns is going to retain the SmackDown Championship. He's going to come talk about how, like, even though he lost one, he still need to acknowledge me and blah, 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 blah.
I think that's the opposite. I think Roman's going to be on Raw and The Rock's going to be on his show. SmackDown is The Rock. It's his show.
But that's why. I mean, Rock's not coming back. Like, he's going to come for one angle, so he needs to come to the show where Roman is, which is SmackDown. It's a network show. It's on Fox. It makes more sense.
I think it's a one-off at best.
It is a one-off. It is a one-off, but he's going to be there for promos and shit. That's what I'm saying. Like, it is a one-off. I'm just saying he's going to at least show up to a minimum of 3 SmackDowns, a minimum of 3 other shows. It's not. I mean, he's got to at least cut promos and do that thing, and that's what he's going to do. I don't even think Rock would do it if he couldn't do that. If it was just show up at Mania and wrestle, he's not doing it. I don't think
Rock's going to do it at all.
Oh, you don't think he's going to do it at all?
Did you guys see NXT 2.0 this week, the new episode?
I didn't.
You can take a guess at what my answer is.
Probably is no, but so basically that was the beginning of the spoiler that NXT UK is dead.
Okay.
Basically all the champions, all the main NXT UK talent appeared on that show, and there was supposed to be a tournament to determine the new champion, and Tyler Bate was already on there as the champion going up against Braun Breaker. And then today it was announced that NXT UK is basically dead, and they're going to relaunch NXT Europe in 2023.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't know if you guys noticed this at all, but they dropped it to 2.0 too. I mean, they changed the logo altogether. It's just NXT again, which is good.
Oh, that's great. And
not 2.0 anymore. And that started at Heatwave, which was last Wednesday. And apparently the show was great. I think they got to get out of that building. They got to go back on tour. They got to get out of that building. That building just makes it look so rinky-dink.
It just has to – if you're going to actually have it as a true third brand.
Even if it is developmental.
Yeah.
That's just not the right room.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was way better at even Full Sail University compared to that. Yeah, even though it's a little bigger, I still love Full Sail. It's just
if you want to keep it developmental and keep it and honestly, you own the space. Just redo it. The way the look right now, you started with the pandemic, so it just takes. There's no and the crowd vibe just sucks. It's honestly the crowd is way too lit up because then you see every single individual person, and it's like that's not. You want to. I want to feel a crowd. I don't want to see little Jimmy's nose hairs. You know what I mean? Like,
I don't know what about it. Like, Full Sail University just had such a better vibe and feel.
Way better. Way better.
I don't know. The fans are just way better.
I agree.
But speaking of shit that's been way better recently on the indies is your boy Matt Cardona. Did you see his Macho Man, basically Elizabeth wedding thing he did in GCW?
It was very good.
Absolutely.
He fucking even Maki Ito was in there like doing the fucking vows, and dude, Nick Gage hitting his dad with a light tube. It was just fucking good. Like,
yeah, it was
Matt
great.
Cardona's going back to WWE. I'm calling it at some point.
For sure.
He's making the return, and he's gonna be the man.
I think it would just honestly, I think he's definitely going back, but I think it's gonna have to be. I think he's gonna sit down and be like, "Yo, I have leverage now. Like, I have a name now. I can keep doing what I want to do. Like, I'll come back, but I'm at this level of bill. I'm on at least X amount of shows. I'm not doing a bunch of jobs. Like, I'm being treated like a main event guy from now on.
Yeah.
I genuinely do believe that conversation happened with Cody Rhodes to begin with. I don't think he was like, I'm not doing this. I'm not doing that. Like, it had to have
Yeah, and he's Cody's boy, so you know he's gonna be like, come on, treat him right, dude.
Too, like I could totally see like
is Cardona.
Yeah. Yes, dude. Yeah, I could totally see like a revolution, like a resurgence type like stable of like older guys coming back, and Cody kind of being the front runner of that. I think that could have like honestly could have modern day NWO vibes if that happened, which would be awesome. But almost like in a babyface way. Like I think if it's like Cody Rhodes, Zack Ryder, and like I don't know who else has been canned since then. We need like one more guy.
Fucking a lot of people. Bray Wyatt.
Yeah, Gargano, Brian Myers, anybody could come back with him.
Yeah,
you never know.
That one.
Yeah, that's not moving the needle. Brian Myers is not moving.
You never know.
I think
we'll see what happens.
Back to back AJ Styles against something like a Judgment Day.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Yeah, because Judgment Day honestly is not really hitting either. So
nope.
We can see what happens with them. But the other show, also AEW Dynamite, was very fucking solid. And dude, CM Punk came out spitting hot fire. I don't know if you heard or saw that goddamn promo, but it was like a heel promo, but he was spitting. He was really talking some shit. Like he said Moxley has always been the third best guy in the group. It's like a reoccurring theme in his career.
Punk's the heel here, by the way. I know they're cheering him, but he is the heel in this.
It's great though. It's like heels that you can't help it. It's just so good. It's brilliant.
This is bad booking 101. They're both heels in this scenario at this point in time.
I don't think so. Mox has been pretty babyface recently.
Yeah, I think he's baby. He
Mox,
feels I agree with what you're saying
Club
based on that promo.
Babyface stable at the moment.
I see what you're saying, Jesse. I see what you're saying.
The thing is that the entirety of the promo, I felt like it was a fucking terrible promo, and here's why. It was too inside. Like, if it's not us, when you ask about the 3 Eddies, the 4 Johns, the 5 Daniels, all that fun stuff, nobody knows what the fuck you're talking about. You can't, like, that's why when you look at what WWE is doing better at this point, they know they're appealing to a global audience, and they are actually at a point where when people watch it, they're like, oh, I can at least understand which guy's on the side of what. And they did not make that clear here. People were coming out booing Punk only because he was insulting Moxley. And the thing is, Moxley has done nothing to actually be a face. Nothing. Not at all. In fact, he actually did the fucking opposite. So it's like...
Well, Tony Nese is a heel, and he beat him up on the way to the ring, so I think that kind of helped. But, dude, let's be real, though. Like,
the Stone Cold
WWE is the fucking shit for the casual fans. Like, I know we try to say it's like competition, but even JR said recently, AEW is not like really competition. It's fucking alternative. It's for the marks.
I wouldn't say it's bad booking, but I see what you're saying. But okay, a prime example is like if you watch The Sopranos, right? Like if you just sit down for season 3, episode 12, you're gonna have no idea what is happening. Like you're gonna have if you don't watch the show, you're gonna have no idea. Right. So like I don't think it was too inside. Like I think if you've watched 6 to 8 weeks of AEW, I don't think it was so inside that it's only for like the super marks. I don't think it's only just for us. Like, but I do agree that what I will say is WWE is way more mass audience, meaning that like any Monday or Friday, you can pick up on the storyline pretty much immediately. Like you can just get in and get it. That's what they do. And that's great. And they're the best at it. And that's why they will always be the #1 wrestling company. I'm going to say that here and now. They always will be. But
yeah, they're too big.
But AEW is the Sopranos. I mean, like, and they have their dedicated fan base, and that's fine. But it's not like you have a level of fanatic.
Referencing John Cena as much as you are John Moxley, and at that point in time, you have to.
Yeah, but John Cena's in the lexicon, bro. John Cena's Hulk Hogan at this point.
He's in AEW commercials all the time for other shows on their networks. Like everyone knows who John fucking Cena is.
Yeah.
He's Peacemaker. He's a Warner property.
If you say Hulk Hogan, you say Hulk Hogan. If you say John Cena, you don't just say John.
Yeah.
Like that to a lot of people, especially, and this enlightened me today, while I rewatched Dynamite, she's like, what is he talking about?
Dude, how many Johns are there in pro wrestling that win world championships? Come on now.
How many people need to know how many Johns won world championships?
But if you watch wrestling, how many Johns off the top of your head right now that are world champions?
You just made my point.
Yeah, but I understand your point. Okay, another great example. Number one show in the world is Stranger Things. Everyone watches that show, right? If you jump in the middle and you don't know what the fuck is going on, that's on you. Like that's the kind of show AEW is for wrestling. I see what you're saying, but the idea that they're only catering to the super smartest of marks, I don't think that's the case.
And if you're just that lazy and that dumb that you don't know how to use Google and just like, oh, who is this guy? It's accessible. It's right there. If you don't want to do it and you're just being lazy, that's on you. Because I mean, it takes a quick search. We have the internet at our fingertips right now.
Use search engines to figure out what you're talking about.
It's just a preference. What I'm saying is like they're just too that's like saying like the NFL is the NFL. You can turn it on and know what's going on no matter what. It's always going to be a major thing. There's way more people that watch the NFL than watch The Sopranos. But guess what? The Sopranos was pretty fucking massive, and there's plenty of people that just watch that kind of thing that have to be locked in. So
AEW is the HBO of pro wrestling, and WWE is network television.
Yeah. Not everybody has HBO. Not everyone is going to use that service. Not everyone's going to watch that kind of thing. But like a network sitcom like Everybody Loves Raymond, you can just turn it right on and you can get it. Friends, Seinfeld, you can just get
exactly.
Right into it
WWE
right
is Friends, Seinfeld, all that shit. And HBO is AEW.
WWE is only half network television.
It doesn't matter. It's not that we're not even talking about specifically cable or network.
They literally are USA Network versus HBO, straight up.
Yeah.
No, they're the only. Continue.
I know what you're saying. I see what you're saying. I just disagree with you.
Well, what do you guys think about them doing the fucking unification match already next week?
I think that's a bad move.
Well,
I don't think it's really going to happen. Something's going to fucking right? If we know pro wrestling, it's not going to happen. So I wonder what's going to happen. Kenny Omega returned, even though he's not 100%. We all knew it was going to fucking happen. It's Kenny Omega. Like, who else? We debated this shit last week, but the fact that he's not 100%, like, do you think that's going to, like, you think he's going to get re-injured? It's going to fuck things up? Or you think he's just going to take it easy, working the tag matches till he can get back to 100%?
He's not 100%. He wouldn't have come back if he wasn't 100%. He's selling.
Okay, so you think it's a work. Okay.
He's working the fuck out of everybody right now. That's the whole fucking bit. That's the whole
So that makes sense. So you think his, like, ring rust that he had at the beginning when he was just working?
Yeah, it's bullshit. Like,
I that was in the back of my mind, but I'm glad someone else maybe even thought like I was thinking, because I'm always thinking everything's a work.
Yeah.
But if you listen to Callis and if you listen to the commentary and you watch how many times they advertise the Punk Moxley thing for next week, what it leads to me is they're going to do next week. It's going to get fucked up. I agree. It's going to be a melee. It's going to be some kind of weird fucking thing. But at All Out, I think they might go three ways, and I think Kenny might be involved.
Kenny or Jericho, one of the two. I think that'll happen.
I don't think Jericho's be involved in that. I think it's going to be Jericho Garcia probably.
Garcia, yeah, which that match was really good with him and Danielson. But I think it's about time to go ahead and move into the meat and taters of the show, which is our top 5 fucking gimmicks of all time, which I know it's going to be a little bit different for everybody, but I guarantee you we're going to have a few people on the same list, but maybe in different spots, because some gimmicks are undeniable.
Yeah, I'm super excited about it, man. I'm super excited about it. There's a lot of meat on the bone. There's a lot going on in the current landscape. I'm having a good time with that as well. But let's talk about an era from, I mean, really, gimmicks in pro wrestling have been there forever, and they're still there today, and they will continue forever. There will always be a place for them. Sometimes they're way more dominant, and sometimes they're like the only thing in pro wrestling. And then a lot of times it's like hard to find someone that is just doing the full gimmick. But that's what we're going to do. We're going to do top 5 gimmicks of all time, top 5 character wrestlers of all time, and the people that have done it the best. Yeah, man, I'm super excited about this. And Jesse, I want to start with you, man. Let's start at your number 5. What's your number 5 best gimmick of all time?
I'm just glad that we defined this the same way. I was kind of scared that we weren't going to define it the same way because we really only said top 5 gimmicks, but it is the same way. My number 5 is a cat called Raven.
Ooh, good one.
If you look at Johnny Polo, Scotty Polo, blah, 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 whatever, he had such a fucking big deal career in WWE, WWF at the time. Best friends with Shane McMahon, asked to fucking do talent, so on and so forth. Worked for all of these companies under all of these other things, but did not really find his song until he found Raven. And yes, it fell off after ECW, but it was a fucking great gimmick. It absolutely was.
Yeah. No, I agree. That's a solid choice. I didn't think of it, but that's a really solid choice, man. That's really good. Wex, you're number 5. Where you at?
Coming in at number 5 is someone we talked about a little bit earlier, and that is Mr. Dustin Rhodes as Gold Dust.
Nice. I like that.
And almost like he said so many different iterations of Gold Dust, some not so hot versions, but some actually like he's changed it up over the years. Like one of my favorite versions of Gold Dust is Gold Dust with Booker T as a tag team.
Yeah.
Like all of his weird sexual advances to Booker T and the way he would react. Like I love the fucking 7-Eleven skit. And he's like, do you want a bite of my wiener so I can have a sip of your Slurpee? Like, yeah. Classic, fucking classic. Just that's the best version of Goldust. But like even the later stuff with Cody and then the early stuff, the Roddy. I mean, it's just Goldust is great. Number 5 for me.
That's awesome. I'm really glad that you said that. I feel like these segues are going perfectly. My number 5 is you just mentioned him, Goldust tag team partner. I think specifically the King Booker character was brilliant. Ooh. I thought it was probably. I'm going to go out on a limb here. I'm going to say it's the best King gimmick of all time. Because and people are going to be like, oh, like Jerry Lawler. It's like, yeah, but that's what I mean. Like Jerry Lawler like wore a crown, but it was really like that was more like ring attire. Like it was like it's almost like Bret the Hitman Hart. Like yeah, the Hitman had all this get up and stuff. Really, but he wasn't a real sniper. You know what I mean? He wasn't like it wasn't like Jerry the King Lawler was doing like frou like majesty type things. Like he was just Jerry Lawler. The King was a monarch. Didn't put his
pinky up like that either.
Yeah, he wasn't. But you know what I mean? Like he even Booker, his movement in the ring changed a little bit. Like the way he would do certain things would change when he was that gimmick. And that to me is like it's really underrated. And the reason why I feel like not a lot of people think about it is because he's Booker T. And so he's got, everything else in his career that makes him a Hall of Famer. Even like, for example, if King Booker had never happened, he's still a Hall of Famer.
Absolutely. 5-time WCW champion.
But adding King Booker in there makes like to me it's like that showed a side of Booker T that you're never like he fully went in on a character and he was that character perfectly, and that's why it's right there at number 5 on my list. King Booker. Jesse, number 4.
So my number 4 actually originally was going to be Wexley's number 5, but I chose an alternate. So I do agree with you. However, my alternate, I'm going to say Broken Matt Hardy.
Ooh, that's a good one.
Love it.
And it's only because at that point in time, Matt's career was done. Like, done. Nobody,
Yep.
His brother was the star who already fell off the cross and shit multiple times. Matt, at that point, he comes up with this thing and like reinvigorates an entire company that shouldn't have even continued to exist at the time.
Yep. He kept him in business, no doubt.
Caused both he and his brother to continuously have careers, go back to WWE, leave WWE, both have careers outside of the WWE.
Yep.
And give one of the best WrestleMania moments that nobody anticipated ever. So I'm going to say Broken Matt Hardy as my number 4.
I love it. Wex, where you at, number 4?
Coming at me for number motherfucking 4, which I'm sure he's on your list at somewhere, but he's a little bit lower on my list, and I probably anticipate for you guys. But it's the Undertaker. Like, it's the most classic gimmick of all time. He's the undead fucking wizard.
Yes, yes, it is.
And he became a biker briefly, but he was still like evil, but a biker. Slightly big evil, but I mean, it's timeless. Even though as a person, fuck him or whatever, but the Undertaker is just like the sickest gimmick. My favorite iteration of is the Ministry of Darkness, which that's my definitive Undertaker. The fucking 90s goat, the everything, like
the
music, the entrance.
I gotta be honest, I'm shocked that he's number 4 on your list. That genuinely shocks me.
4?
Well, I have a few other people that I like their gimmicks a lot more, but like this is a timeless gimmick.
Oh, timeless.
Like the only reason there might be a little bit of bias for my top 2, maybe even 3, but dude, you can't deny the Undertaker, which I'm sure he's like 1 or 2 for you guys, but fucking sick.
Yeah, I mean we'll get to that for sure. I mean
Brock Lesnar. I mean it's
you can tell by this awkward silence.
I'm going to assume
you putting the Undertaker at number 4 is blasphemous. I'm going to go ahead and tell you that right now.
I'm going to assume
it's just
number
personal
1
opinion.
Up at the midget dwarf who was beaten off in a trash can on TNA fucking 5 episodes in.
I've eaten off in a trash can.
What was his name?
Puppet.
Yeah, he pulled out a gun once.
Yeah. He's
Tank Abbott pulled out a knife once.
And he's always got his hand on some kind of tool. My number 4 here is the other brother of destruction, a man that was floundering for a long time. I think Kane is the number 4 gimmick of all time. The story, his intro going straight on top, and to be honest, he's had a mid card run, but he's never been lower than the mid card. I mean, even when he's part time, he's never been lower than the mid card, and it's because of the gimmick. I'm not saying he's not a good wrestler. He's not a great wrestler. He's a good wrestler, and he's a big guy. But the gimmick is why he has legs, and there's so many memorable moments from the gimmick. Even the comedy stuff with Team Hell No was great.
Setting JR on fire, that's classic.
Yeah, I mean, I mean, he's done. I mean, sheesh, the Katie Vick angle. I mean,
that's not even him, but it is. But God, it's so good.
Oh man, it's solid. I mean, I feel like from the debut of Kane, I would argue for a gimmick. It's I would say it's the best possible way to debut a character gimmick wrestler. The best way. That was I think that's the best debut of a character of all time. The best one of all time. The Bad Blood match that was amazing up until that. And it didn't take anything away from the finish. I thought it was perfectly done. It was the best way to end that match.
Classic.
Great match. And I mean, when you start your career off that way, it's nothing but up. I mean, and the pyro, the whole aesthetic. I mean, especially that original Kane gear too. I mean, it's just undeniable. The way they ramped it up with Paul Bearer for months, not weeks, months before it happened. Just so well done. Very well done. Kane is my number 4. Let's get into our Olympic medals here. With taking home the bronze from Mr. Jesse Baker. Who's your number 3 best gimmick of all time?
Going to have to give the number 3 to the Dudley Boys.
Okay.
It's a completely, initially, group of people that
specifically ECW, right?
On into everything else. I mean, the thing is, you gotta take the start on into the finish.
Yeah,
and
that's fair.
To be honest, they didn't know each other. They got put together. That was a Paul Heyman thing, and you wind up with a whole lot of people in the same group, and all of a sudden it works, and you find 2 people accidentally out of that who wind up being the most decorated tag team champions out of any company that's ever existed.
Yeah.
You got to give it to them.
Yeah.
And it is a fucking gimmick. They had no idea.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I mean, I can't argue with that. I didn't think about a tag team, and that's on me. There's no rules against that. I just didn't think about that, but that's solid.
I would argue that, but I took it off.
I would argue that I don't know if they were still gimmick character heavy by the time they were like Team 3D, but maybe as the Dudley Boys, yes, I could say that. Yeah.
Well, they started that way. Like the Rockers weren't a fucking gimmick, and Rock and Roll Express weren't a fucking gimmick when they started, but they had year-long career. The Hardys weren't a fucking gimmick when they started.
They're not a gimmick at all.
Man.
I don't think any of those teams that you just named are gimmicks. I think they were just they were who they were. It was just a product of their time. Like they were just tried to be. They literally all three of those teams were rockers in different eras. Like early 80s, early 90s, 2000s. Like they're all rockers. Like
you can disqualify it. It's totally fine. Mankind. That'll be my third.
No, don't do that.
No, dude, don't do that. I like the Dudleys. That's good.
I'm saying, like, here's the thing: the Dudleys weren't. You look at Bubba Ray as Mongo Vile. You look at Devon. You look at that whole thing. That's a fucking gimmick. They didn't know each other. They got accidentally.
They played rednecks, and he was from New York, so
yeah.
Remember he did the stuttering gimmick. The Devon was slapping the back of the head. That was classic.
They're making like that. Like they absolutely.
Big Dick Dudley, Sign Guy Dudley. We're not just talking about two people here. We're talking about
Big Dick Dudley, Spike Dudley,
Sign Guy Dudley.
Yeah. Daddy Dudley, who used to be a touring territorial wrestler who ran around all the territories, and that's how Bubba Ray and Devon wound up,
I love it. It's a great backstory.
It's a fucking gimmick.
It's on me. That's what I'm saying. Like,
same daddies, different mothers. You know how it goes.
That's a good one. So, Wex, so your bronze, where are you at?
My bronze, that's why I told Jesse not to take it, but my bronze is Mankind. I think the most complex out of the three faces of Foley. Like, the other two are gimmicks for sure, but Mankind is just the different versions, the iterations of him. Like, he's the first wrestler I ever knew that had an entrance and an exit song. And the way he played it was so good. And then when he reinvented himself, like going from like the weird disturbed person just to like the I'm going to put my body on the line, car crash, I don't give a fuck. Like literally his theme song changed to a car crash whenever he made that transition. And every iteration of Mankind, whether it's the weird disturbed guy, whether it's the lovable, fun Mick Foley version of it, like his shit with The Rock, just Mankind, the best version of the three faces of Foley. And it's a fucking Vince McMahon creation. Got to give it to him.
Agreed. And my number 3 is a guy that I think helped make Mankind, and Mankind helped make him. And he is now currently running creative at WWE, and it's Hunter Hearst Helmsley, a.k.a. Triple H. The evolution of that character. Dude, okay. If you're going to say that the Dudleys, and it's all the same gimmick, when by the time they're in WWF, they're just two wrestlers. Like they're not continuing that same gimmick. It's the same thing with Triple H. He was a Connecticut blue blood. If we're not smart marks and you just watch it as a character, he has arguably one of the best evolutions of a character of all time.
He literally goes from
Connecticut blue blood, gets shit on in this corporate thing.
WCW version where he was like English to blue blood.
Well, but I mean, I'm just talking about just Hunter Hearst Helmsley.
Oh, okay.
Into Triple H with DX, into the game, into corporate authority like Triple H, into like evolution. Then I think there's no argument there to me that like that's the best one of the best gimmicks of all time. I mean, let me rephrase this then. If you don't believe that that's gimmick enough, would he have gotten there without the original Hunter Hearst Helmsley character?
He didn't invent it, apparently.
I don't think so. I don't think he wouldn't have gotten there without it.
I don't think so. I think once he started using My Time as a theme song is like when he was like became the man.
Yeah. Or more like just wrestler and less gimmick.
Yeah, once he quit wearing the fucking, jacket, like the fancy guy jacket.
The fancy guy jacket.
Yeah, but he got hired in based on wearing the fancy guy jacket. He did the exact same fucking gimmick that happened in WCW. They just fucking had it there. And he went from having a real bad accent doing the same thing to going somewhere else. I would say those gimmicks were the worst. They found a guy that happened to work through a fucking terrible gimmick. Sure.
Oh, I disagree. I love the Hunter Hearst Helmsley character. I think it's a great gimmick. I think it worked. I think it's better on him than it was on Regal. And honestly, I think Regal was better as like the actual villain. And I see. I can understand what you're saying, but my opinion is Hunter Hearst Helmsley is the number 3 greatest character of all time.
We agree to disagree.
What is your silver medal then, Jesse?
Super fair. My silver is Taker.
Your silver is Taker.
Oh, your silver. Okay, I knew you also was going to be high for Taker.
My silver's Taker. There's no need to have to talk about Taker.
Yeah.
I mean, it's obviously, it may be a little impacted by recent years. Don't get me wrong. But the overall, I get why it should be number one. But I don't know what he contributed to the business outside of just being Vince's numero uno and like being the guy that never left, being the guy that stayed. But he did so fucking much staying in that character and doing all those things.
Yeah.
So that's my number two. I mean, it's gimmick.com. It's a Vince creation.
Yeah.
He took to it and reinvented it over and over and over again in such a way that no one else could.
Yeah, I agree. More on that later. Wex, what's your number two?
Coming in at number two for me is one of my favorite wrestlers of all time, who I think is one of the sickest gimmicks ever, and that is Jushin Thunder Liger.
Okay.
Which he started out as just Jushin Liger based on an anime, which is a classic thing they've done in Japan since Tiger Mask. But Tiger Mask was an anime or a manga anime based on a wrestler. This was an anime based on some fantasy anime type shit.
Yeah.
And then he started off as Jushin Liger. Not started off, but when they eventually gave him that gimmick after he came back from his Mexico excursion. And then in the anime, when he powered up to Jushin Thunder Liger, the version we know today, he turned to that version. And even if you know his history, when he has really gnarly, hard matches when he wants to go crazy, against the Great Muta, rips off his mask and becomes Kenshin Liger. And I just think it's super cool, the evolution over the years. And he's the innovator of the modern style of pro wrestling we know today. And the fact that he carried that whole anime thing years, and it's just fucking sick. I think it's just such a sick gimmick, especially when he goes into Kenshin Liger it's bringing out the burning hammer for special occasions.
Specifically too, that was already a animated character prior to him even being a wrestler. That's really incredible.
Arguably, he's more popular than the anime as the wrestler. He's he's brought it full circle.
Yeah.
And Jushin Thunder Liger,
Muta would have been on my list had it. Mysterio, everybody else would have been contenders on the list. Outside of the fact that he appropriated a character and turned it into something else.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I agree. That's why Rey Mysterio isn't on my list, because it's yes, he's a great character, but that's also kind of part of that lucha libre culture. So everybody in that world, especially when he started, was a character to begin with. So I didn't know how to approach that one, so I just left it off. Definitely an honorable mention, but Liger's
100% a gimmick, and he has such an iconic, cool mask. No one has a mask like him.
Totally, agreed. And the fact that he's worked under that hot ass hood for that long
with the full bodysuit, he just looks like a fucking. He's the anime character came to life in the ring.
That man has got to have the lowest. I'll bet his resting heart rate is 36. That dude probably
he had a brain tumor in
every match
and survived a brain tumor, brain surgery, and came back and still wrestled for. He retired at 50, a few years ago. He slowed down his high flying stuff and became more of a technical wrestler. But Liger,
but he was still very good.
Dude, exactly, he's extremely good.
I mean, dude, that takeover match with him and Tyler Breeze was insanely good. And he was 48, 49.
And that was great too. Great match.
Great match. Great match, man. Great match. Good choice. Good choice. My number two, my silver medal, is he's still going today. It's the man they call Sting. I think it's from the beginning till now. I mean, there's no way around it. That's it's like he came in almost as a knockoff of the Road Warriors, and then he turned himself into the Crow character. And then, people shit on it, but the Joker TNA thing had potential, I will say. I won't say that it was good.
His TNA run was good. Can't
his TNA run in general was good. But what I'm saying is the reinvention of the character, the longevity of specifically the Crow character, which is well over 20 years. There's no debating it. I mean, Sting would not be Sting. Good wrestler, not great, good wrestler. would not have the career that he has without that character. And it's awesome. And I feel like he still pulls it off well. He's not as in the limelight now because he's in the twilight of his career in his 60s, which is insane. But he's still doing crazy things. I mean, his matches are significantly better than the Ric Flair match, but I digress. Yeah, man, Sting. I mean, got to be in the top 5. I mean, there's only one other better character in my opinion. So Sting is number 2. Let's get into the gold medals here, boys. The number 1 overalls here. Jesse, your number 1 gimmick of all time.
Y'all are gonna hate this shit. There's a reason for it though. It is. Excuse me. I gotta clear my throat. JEFFJARRETT Jeff Jarrett. To me,
you're trolling.
No, I'm not. To be honest, I'm really not. Here's why. This motherfucker came from a 3rd-generation family that had been promoting wrestling from the 40s and wasn't going to do shit. Wound up getting signed, got a gimmick. How many times did this guy get fired or walked away? Several times. Where does he work now? The same fucking person that fired him. And we're talking about shit like Ric Flair's last match. We're talking about podcasts. We're talking about the only person that had the balls to start a promotion during the whole fucking invasion storyline bullshit that happened. It never would have happened if he had not gotten that fucking country gimmick. It never would have happened. If he came in as just himself, never would have happened.
But the gimmick was shit.
I mean, you say the gimmick was shit, but how many
the gimmick
years?
Was shit.
How many years?
He would tell you. He said the gimmick is shit.
Yeah, sure. But how many years of shit did it fucking involve? Like,
he did hold on to that guitar for a long time.
How many other people that you love, that you got to see in other promotions, happened strictly because he had that gimmick? Maybe the gimmick was shit. However, he hired a whole bunch of people into TNA, into NWA, into all that shit.
But it's top 5 gimmicks.
Yeah, I kind of agree. I mean, he did hang on to the guitar thing for a while and kind of use that and kind of transition.
Like, I'm not arguing that like he had an amazing
double
career.
J gimmick is not a top, not number 1. It's a gimmick.
It's my number 1. Fuck y'all. Who gives a shit? We're not asking for people to argue. If we were asking for people to argue, I would have fucking argued a bunch of y'all's. Because, first of all, Triple H, not a gimmick. Like, it's not. Like, who cares? So, continue. My fucking number 1. You heard it.
Double J. All right.
Oh, red ass Jesse over there with his shitty country
you can
gimmick.
sit there and fucking pause like you guys accuse me of fucking doing. And, like, go on.
All right, Wex, what's your number 1?
All right. I don't want to be biased or anything, but like, dude, this gimmick is probably one of the most relatable gimmicks of all time. It's the gimmick that saved this person's career. It's this gimmick that saved fucking the WWF.
It's not a fucking gimmick.
And
I already know who you're going to say, and it's not a fucking gimmick.
It is a gimmick, and that's the bionic redneck, the Texas rattlesnake, Stone Cold Steve Austin, goddammit.
It's not a gimmick.
How was that not a fucking gimmick?
That's not
It's not a gimmick. It's just him.
That's just him. I mean, listen, I'm not mad at you.
It's like a gimmick because he never got if he had other gimmicks before that didn't work, and when he went to that gimmick,
because it wasn't a gimmick, it worked.
That's the thing.
It's a fucking gimmick. Like, dude,
It's
the
not
most
a
relatable.
gimmick.
Nah, I mean, I'm 100% with Jesse on this. Listen, Stone Cold Steve Austin deserves to be on the top of many lists.
Dude, it's a gimmick.
But that's gimmick.
He's a redneck badass motherfucker.
That's who he is.
Okay, that could still be a wrestling gimmick.
That's like, he is that person.
But he's living the gimmick. He is the gimmick. So what's wrong with that?
That's
like that would be like my favorite actor is Tom Cruise, but when he's Tom Cruise, it's like what do you mean?
Dude.
No,
it's wrestling. It's not
crazy.
fucking.
It's not a gimmick.
Is Vince okay? Well, that is Mr. McMahon a gimmick then?
Mr. McMahon 100% is a gimmick. That's a character. That's a fucking gimmick.
What?
Is Shawn Michaels a gimmick?
HBK, sir, certain aspects and different parts of his career of a gimmick, but
disagreed.
Yeah. Yep, I'm poo-pooing on both of those.
I think it's a fucking gimmick. I mean, I'm not a badass redneck who wants to beat up my boss, but it's very relatable.
Yeah, but Stone Cold Steve Austin was that fucking guy.
Okay, is Macho Man Randy Savage not a gimmick, even though he's that guy?
It's not a gimmick.
It's not a gimmick. That's why he's not on our list, because he's one of my top 5 favorite wrestlers of all time. I would have definitely put him on the list if I thought.
Randy Poffo's not a gimmick, but because you can even when you hear him talk, you can see the difference in the voice. You know, he kind of talks like this, but when he really gets going, that's when the Macho Man comes out, and the Macho Man's a gimmick.
At least Jesse chose a shitty gimmick. You chose no gimmick at all. You just chose a fucking guy.
I chose a gimmick.
I chose a shitty gimmick that resulted in money for a long fucking time for a lot of
a gimmick that
I'm not arguing. Your argument was
never had that gimmick.
Correct.
We wouldn't be doing this goddamn shit today. WWF would have died if it wasn't for this gimmick. If he would have stayed as the ringmaster, then we'd been fucking. Where would we be at today?
It wouldn't have died. It would have taken longer, but it wouldn't have died. I don't think.
Dude,
let's move on to the gold medal for Mr. Knowitall.
I mean, it's the Undertaker. Obviously, it's got to be the Undertaker. He's the greatest gimmick of all time. It is only his gimmick. I mean, because I have on the show. Like, literally, this was the reason why I was
he's like
top 5 gimmicks
best.
is because I don't ever give The Undertaker flowers for anything. I'm always critical of his ring work. I'm always critical of his promos. I'm always critical of all of it. To me, he is the greatest character of all time, though. No doubt. Like, no doubt. Like, Mark Calloway is not that guy at all, clearly. He's a bootlicking, old school conservative. That's who he is. Like, he is like the worst redneck. He's like the dude old man Karen redneck. Like, that's who he is in real life. But his character is the Undertaker, and I can love that. I can love the character. Like, and I will continue to love it. I think dude, like, there is zero doubt without that character, that dude is maybe 8 years total in the business because he's tall. Yeah. Like, I mean, he's a good wrestler, but not great. Okay, I shouldn't say that. Without his gimmick, he's at best, Psycho Sid, at best.
Hey, let me ask you this. Do you guys know where both your number ones started wrestling and who they worked for?
At the Sportatorium.
Yeah. For?
The Von Erichs.
The Von Erichs.
And then they got hired into this place for?
USWA.
Mm-hmm. At that time, run by.
Yeah, I know where you're going. Jeff Jarrett's daddy.
Jerry Jarrett, Stone Cold stayed at the fucking Congress Inn on Dickerson Road and ate potatoes.
This is a much more controversial episode than I ever expected this to be, by the way.
I'm just saying, my number one hired both your number ones, so.
No, fuck y'all. Stone Cold's the best. Number one gimmick all time, 99 wins.
Stone Cold is not a gimmick. Jeff Jarrett, while is very successful, and I completely agree with your argument behind it, his character itself was shit. Not a great gimmick.
Was a gimmick. Double J was a gimmick. But Jeff Jarrett.
Double J was a shit gimmick, though. It's not in the top 50 of best gimmicks of all time, in my opinion.
For everybody.
And then Undertaker's obviously number one. I am Mr. Know-It-All once again. That's going to lead us into the best segment of the show, in my opinion. And since Wex didn't fucking completely miss the assignment on the gimmicks and named Stone Cold as number one.
Fuck y'all. I did not miss a goddamn thing. Stone Cold is the best gimmick. I don't give a fuck what y'all say.
All right, you know what? I'm going to let you kick it off, dude. All right, so there's 3 of us here. So you're going to give 3 facts. We each get 3 yes or no questions. Has to be yes or no questions. And then 3 guesses. Are you ready to play Who Am I?
Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Are you ready? Okay. I am a Royal... I can't even talk now. I am a Royal Rumble winner. Okay. I am a WWE and WCW Triple Crown champion. See, the last one I'll give you guys. And I am a one-time WCW World Heavyweight Champion and one-time WWE World Heavyweight Champion. Same belt, but for different companies.
Is it only one time on the World Championships?
Yep.
Ooh, okay.
That's one.
Was I wrestling in the 80s?
No, not the 80s.
Did I wear a mask?
Yes. At one point in your career, yes.
Is my name Rey Mysterio?
No.
Did I wear face paint?
No, you actually did wrestle in the 80s. I take that back. So.
Did I wear face paint?
Didn't wear face paint.
Is my name Ric Flair?
Your name is not Ric Flair. 2 guesses down for Jesse.
Royal Rumble winner. Did I win my Royal Rumble between 90 and 95?
No.
Ooh.
Is my name Hulk Hogan?
Your name is not Hulk Hogan. Jesse, you are officially eliminated with 3 guesses.
Word.
Plus, Hogan was a multiple-time World Heavyweight Champion in WCW, never held the World Heavyweight Championship in WWE, so.
I was trying to speed things along, my friend.
Yeah, I wanted to say Ultimate Warrior. I know that's not right. Am I Psycho Sid?
You are not Psycho Sid.
Am I... Shit, I wore a mask, though?
At one point in your career, yes. I'll give you a hint. You wore a mask in Japan.
Fuck me, man. Am I Muda? No,
You
Muda
are
never won a
not
Royal
Muda.
Rumble. All right, I tap.
That's 3 guesses. The Canadian Crippler, Chris Benoit.
Oh, nice. Nice. Yeah. Wild Pegasus, right? You wore a
Wild
mask.
Pegasus,
Wild Pegasus.
New Japan Pro
Damn it.
Wrestling.
That's a really good one. Okay, I like that. All right, I want to go ahead and give you guys mine. Are we ready?
Sure.
Ready, Eddie.
I am a 6-time Intercontinental Champion. I have been Mr. Money in the Bank. I was the 2001 Comeback Wrestler of the Year. Who am I?
Am I from America?
Yes.
Ooh. Did I wrestle for WCW?
Yes.
Oh my god, this is pretty fucking tough. You got any guesses, Jesse?
Not yet.
Do I currently work for AEW?
No.
Okay, that narrows it down. Because that where you're from could have been a trick question on who I was thinking, but ooh man, this is fucking tough.
It's not.
2001. Fuck. Everyone I'm thinking of is not. They're not American. Fuck.
Did I work for WCW until it closed?
No.
Was I a champion in WCW aside from my IC runs in WWF?
No.
You're really busting my balls here.
Was I an outed homosexual?
No.
Jeff Hardy?
No.
Fuck, was
Not
that close?
Jeff Hardy.
Damn.
Think about that era.
Christian.
No. Neither one of them worked for WCW.
Canadian. Damn it. Never mind.
He wasn't Canadian. I didn't say he was Canadian.
You said he was American, so that's fine.
Yes. You want me to read back my facts right one more time?
Yeah, one more time for us.
I remember them, but
6-time IC champion. Mr. Money in the Bank. 2001 Comeback of the Year.
Oh, I know who it is now. I figured it out. Can I guess?
Yes.
RVD.
It is RVD. It is Rob Van Dam.
Yes, I was like, it had to be him, Edge, or Jericho, but Jericho had more reigns. Fuck. God damn it. Once you said Mr. Money in the Bank again, I was like, dude, that's it. That's it, dude.
Yeah. That should have been a gimme.
Fuck.
I was waiting so much for Jesse to say, was he an ECW? And I was like, Jesse, that's the question. Like, I was almost like trying to like telepathically tell you what, like, just ask that question. Cause you had asked about WCW and I was like, if I say he's from like 6 times, he wrestled in ECW, boom, there it is. It's right there. Like,
yeah. No, it should have been a gimme. And you guys are going to hate me for mine.
Okay, let's go. I love this.
Are you guys ready?
Yeah.
Yep.
I did enhancement talent matches in WWE in 1996, 1997, but I was not signed until 2001.
Okay.
Okay.
I was a one-time tag team champion with Eddie Guerrero.
Okay.
In what company? WWF?
I'm not done with my 3 facts, motherfucker.
Yeah, let him finish his 3.
I wrote the first book that WWE published in a non-English language. Who am I?
Rey Mysterio Jr.?
Unfortunately, no.
Did I wrestle in ECW?
Yes, you did.
Ooh, okay.
Champion.
Did I wrestle for WCW?
No.
Okay. I'm going to take a wild guess. My first one's super crazy.
No.
Okay. Damn, WWE published book. Not in English. First one.
The very first one.
Wasn't Ray. Is it Hui?
Nope.
Is it S.A. Rios?
No.
Was I a tag team champion in the WWF with Eddie Guerrero?
You said no WCW and you said ECW. So was it ECW?
Well, no. I'm saying I don't know if it was F or E.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Well, but it was one of those.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. I got it.
Go for it.
Batista.
Nope.
God, then that's fuck.
Bart Starr?
No.
Mil Master?
Chavo?
So that's 3 for both of you.
Yeah. I don't know.
It is a young man called the Japanese Buzzsaw.
Tajiri. Fuck. That was a good one.
That is a good one.
That was a good one.
That's a good one. I like that. I
forgot
man.
briefly they were the tag team champions when he was tagging with somebody. Was he tagging with Chavo when he got hurt, right?
He was, but he didn't win the championships. He tagged with Eddie as a substitute at one point in time, but he also won the tag team championships one other time with William Regal. He's held a bunch of championships. He happened to debut in 1994 and is still wrestling to this day. And just recently, in January of this year, lost the MLW Middleweight Championship to Myron Reed. Still going.
Part of the treehouse, but I love that fucking goddamn mood. The Tajiri kick.
That buzz.
Back when I used to do a little rap music out of line, I said "scary like Tajiri when I kick you in the head." Something I'm gonna fill you with some lead or something like that. I don't remember, but Tajiri.
I'm sure that you didn't know who it was because you can't remember your own lyrics. So
Yeah, I mean that makes perfect.
It's been a while.
Yeah,
It's been a little while. It's been a little while. I mean, I can still remember songs that I wrote when I was like 14. I don't know why.
Tajiri when I kick you in the head. If I don't kill you, then I'll fill you with. I don't remember, dude. It's a minute. Let me go back and listen. It's been a while.
Well, I'll go back to listen to this one for sure. We've had a lot to cover here. Lots of meat on the bone.
Thrashaholics, OG SoundCloud rappers before that was a
Lots of meat
thing.
and potatoes. And then we, great list episode. We argued with each other incessantly. Who Am I is always fun every single week. I am super excited to keep that thing going. Man, next week's going to be fun. Next week is going to be fun. Next week, we're going to be covering, the current events of the week for sure. Another round of Who Am I for sure. This time, Who Am I Tag Teams edition. I feel like it'll be a little bit easier that way too. It'll help narrow it down. So we'll do Who Am I Tag Teams. And next week, we're going to do the top 5 cruiserweight / light heavyweights of all time. Meaning 205, 215, top 5 of all
Junior
time.
heavyweights, all
whatever.
that stuff.
Whatever. So that's going to be a really good one. I'm super excited about that.
Yeah.
I know I just sprung that on you guys. Wex, how you feeling about
I love it.
cruiserweight focused episode next week?
Hey, I like it. I love it. I want some more of it. You know what I'm talking about, baby.
Let's make it happen. Jesse, how you feeling?
Does the X Division count?
Yes. Yeah. Cruiserweight, X Division,
Except for Samoa Joe.
If they weigh under 225 pounds.
Except for Joe. He's the only X Division guy that doesn't count.
Like the X Division is no rules, right?
Yeah. But you know what I mean.
I gotcha.
Yeah,
I was just joking.
Them just jokes. We got jokes here. My name is Mr. Knowitall, Daniel John Schafer. You can always find me at Daniel Daybreak, or you can find me tonight at the Exit Inn playing with my my band, The Far Between, for the first time at a real venue. We're playing Look What I Did's 21st anniversary. That's tonight, by the way. So if you're listening to this and you're in Nashville and you're listening to it as it drops, come to Exit Inn and say that you came from the podcast, and I will buy you a beer. I'm not a super rich man, but I feel like the few of you that will come, I will buy you beers. So, yeah, come say hi, and I'm going to have a really good time. You can always find the show at KayfabeCom. You can find us on TikTok at KayfabeComPod, which I'm sure most of you are from there. So that's awesome, too. Be sure to hit subscribe, follow, like, all those good things. And, yeah, man, Wex, where can people find you?
Man, you can always find your boy Wex Breaking the Lawson on all your social media accounts at Wex Breaking the Lawson. And about TikTok, dude, we are one follower away from reaching that big 200. So whoever that final follower is, we're going to give you a shout out on the podcast. We're going to do a special little video. We talked about it, 100 followers, never really came out with it, but we're going to do it this time. We're going to really go hard for the fans. If you want to get on the podcast, get these extra listeners for this final season, and maybe you guys can roll over with us into the future whenever, whatever we decide to get on going doing, whether it be this or that or here or there,
We're throwing lots of ideas against the old proverbial board, a lot of poop against the proverbial wall, if you will, and figure out how this thing is going to shake out in the next iteration. But I'm having a hell of a time doing kayfabe comparisons last season. Jesse, where can folks find you?
Hey, man, it's Jesse Baker Nash on Twitter and on Instagram. Regular old Jesse Baker on Facebook. And, man, Elliston Place still, as Daniel said, it is Look What I Did's 21st anniversary.
Let's go.
Today, as this drops, it also happens to celebrate the week of my birthday. There are a bunch of local bands. There are also a bunch of DJs and live graffiti right across the fucking street. I work at the corner bar.
Let's go.
Which means that there's going to be a lot of parties down there too. So it's the whole block. That's all I'm saying.
In the words of Waka Flocka Flame, it's a party, it's a party, it's a party.
It is indeed.
It is
indeed. It's going to be, look, if you're a Nashville person too, like if you live here and if you've been here for over 10 or 15 years, honestly, it's going to be old Nashville. It's going to be an old Nashville party. I mean, it's a lot. I mean, literally every band and everything that's happening between the end and exit in on the rock block is all established of like old school Nashville music scene. And it's awesome. I'm super excited to be a part of it. I'm super excited for you guys to see it, come hang out with us. And yeah, that's going to do it for us this week. And we'll see you guys next week. We're out.
Peace.